to round 3 with Evo Cord, or Abzan Evo. There's no Cord in this deck. Yeah, this hand's fine. Not the most excited by it, but it'll do work. Remy Fortier. Pro Tour champion Remy Fortier? Won the last ever 2-day Pro Tour because of flooding, if I remember correctly. If you haven't, some Pro Tour history, if you haven't looked up Pro Tour Valencia 2008 or 2007, I forget what year it was, you really should. There's a delightful photo of the event site going underwater because the city just flooded in rains, and they had to play a 2-day tournament. Super weird. This hand is not the greatest right now against this matchup, I think. Um, Hopefully we don't get spreading seized. Ugh, that's bad. Okay, that was pretty clutch. Probably have to get a Temple Garden with it, sadly. Uh, Actually, I don't know if have to is what actually needs to happen. It's actually an interesting thought. Do I really need to cast this? I would. I need the Temple Garden to activate Township is what needs to happen. So yes, I do need to get Temple Garden. I was actually kind of willing to accept that Linvala would be a dead card and I get to a white mana by the time I'd cast Revel Arc, but I don't know if that's even true. But like just having the guaranteed access to Township's pretty important. Okay, that's fine. Opponent's playing all the mediocre fish creatures. We'll do a quick spot check. See if our opponent has Spell Pierce before attack or Spell Snare before attacking. Then we just get to Catacombs and make our decision later. I didn't want to play the Linvala there. I just didn't want to like take 3 damage and slam dunk something like that. So we got Double Lord. This is a little bit of an issue. Thinking how I'm actually winning this game. I think Godless Shrine's the one I want, but I'm not 100% on it. Do I even want to attack with these? Let's think about this. So if I Evo Finks to Feeder, if I Evo Voice to Feeder, I can then. No, that doesn't do it because I have to Evo Finks to gain the life even. If I evo that to Rex Sage, blow up the Spreading Seas. Then I can get into combat kind of awkwardly. I'm okay with that. I don't think I'm going to kill all the lords this game, so I'm not too concerned with that. Yep. Okay, now we die. Cool. That was not very good for us. Okay, things that trade for creatures. This. I guess that clears away Spreading Sea, so I'm okay with it. I probably just want to Thoughtseize a bunch. Not huge on Spellskite here. Um, yeah, this is fine. Vol is not good. Revelark's pretty bad. I want all my Evos. Pontiff is good. Lingering Souls is not great. Stranglegeist is actually exceptionally bad here um, because I'm getting Spreading Seized. Lingering Souls is not embarrassing. I want all my Evos. Need all my mana dorks. Yeah. Souls is like just okay. Let's not board on the second Rex Age. I don't need two of that effect. Board out Souls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooze is fine. Yeah, let's try this. Do I want fourth? I think I want four Thoughtseize. Just like a million spot removal spells, some Evos, and some creatures. Kind of feeling like the Evos don't add a lot to this deck as opposed to being a regular uh, Abzan deck. Actually, something that I'm going to say that I don't like is that I've really liked in the past in these grindy setups, like when I was playing Malira Company or Abzan Company, I really enjoyed having access to a bunch of Eternal Witness because you have these like witness removal spell, witness, Snapcaster Mage-esque loops with that card that happen. And this deck not having access to that is pretty mediocre. So here, I'm going to play in order Razorridge Thicket, Thoughtseize to play around Spell Pierce. I think I want to Thoughtseize early here to take my opponent off doing whatever they want to do. So they've got Vault, Island, Seas, Regery, Lord. Kind of want to take. I don't really care about the Spreading Seas in the big picture. Maybe I'm just supposed to take Lord of Atlantis then? Yeah, taking Spreading Seas would be like taking a random card. Whatever mana works still. Need something to sack to this Evo. I don't think I'm just supposed to blow this for something right now. I don't even know what I would spend it on. I think I'm supposed to hold it for like a real threat. The Not a fan of what this deck has on the Evo slots here. I can get Ooze, which actually Ooze is not the worst card in the world, but it's not great. Ooze is what, a 4/4? And I just jump my opponent out from there. That's actually pretty reasonable. It's better than like waiting for a Pontiff or an Necrotol, I think. Yeah, I don't think there was anything I was supposed to wait on here. Um, I don't think there's anything that does 2 damage, so I don't have a real need to pull the trigger on that yet. There's like a very small part of me that wanted to consider saving that. I'm going to do this on upkeep because I think I'm safe from all the real counter spells, and giving my opponent a mana is actually pretty huge at this point in the game. Yep. I know no cards in my opponent's hand right now. Oh, wow, that's some beatdowns. Dismember? Sure, that's fine. I like that. That's something I could get used to drawing. We're gonna get Temple Garden with our Verdant Catacombs. Uh, Based on our opponent's play last turn, they didn't have a Harbinger of the Tides. I guess there's. I guess I should just shove first. I don't think there's anything bad that happens to me. And I think that sequencing like. So I should voice first because I think there's more. I don't think they have anything, but. Jeez. I was thinking maybe they have something conditional that I can pick off. They just drew a Mutavault. If Rhino trades for 2 Mutavaults, that's okay here. I guess I should have pumped an attack with the birds too. And that puts my opponent to 1, and forgot the birds could attack. That was the mistake here. I was doing all the combat math. Yeah, if I'd pumped my squad and attacked with birds, put my opponent to 1, they are forced to make this block because of the trample, right? I guess they could just like chump voice and just lose a bunch of position, but that seems really bad. And then they're at 1 with like 1 blocker facing down 2 creatures. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, Evo this. Does that kill my opponent? Oh, yes. Genius A plus. I know my opponent's hand is just bricks because they drew and played Mutavault and they drew and played Aether Vial. It's like, how do I have to make my opponent lose life when they're at 3? Huh. Wonder what card could possibly be in the format or my deck makes your opponent lose 3 life. I just no idea. What could it be? Who would have thought? Nice. Um, I'm gonna swap out Anafenza for a Kitchen Finks for Anafenza. I just want like a big creature to jam on the board and start clocking my opponent with. And Rex Sage also kills Aether Vial, so I'm okay with a couple of those. Spells Kite, not huge on. Maybe I'm like, no, Strangle Root Guys are just too strenuous on the mana, I think, especially on the draw. I'm not huge on Lingering Souls, so yeah, this is probably fine. See, like that last game, I would have gotten out of Fenza over Scavenging Ooze if I could, I think. Okay, well, my opponent mulligans, so I'm now snap keeping. Um, great games of Magic tonight. But I think that if my opponent had kept 7, this is borderline 2 because it's resilient to Spreading Seas. I've got enough action in terms of like drawing cards and killing my opponent's creatures. Like the most important thing is Merfolk is managing their like double lord density stuff, so that's fine. I think that I'm not even supposed to crack this Windswept Heath here. Actively making sure I'm F3 so that I can not get Spreading Seas Moto style. F3 being the like undo of F6, which is pass all your priority, and F3 undoes that. So I'm not going to do that. Not give my opponent a target for Spreading Seas. Um, yeah, let's just full on make their Spreading Seas as bad as possible for a couple turns. Probably going to go green black or just okay, that's fine. That's not a creature I actually care about. And I'm okay firing these off here. So there's like a reasonable number of 3s that I think I want to cast. I don't know if that's even true though. Thinking about it a bit more. I was thinking just like Kitchen Finks or Anafenza or something on the top that I wouldn't want to take damage off of, but it might also be like a weird spot where like if I didn't have as many basics in my hand, I'd be better off holding them because not only do I care more about them getting Spreading Seized, but I care more about like here I am gonna take the damage anyways most of the time because the basics are just in my deck. Or not in my deck, sorry. So I'm gonna have to fetch a dual land most of the time anyways. Well, let the mediocre beats commence. Ooh, I'm just gonna jam Rhino. I don't think there's a reason to hold it. So this turn, I want to Thoughtseize and see what's going on. So we've got Tidebinder, Seize, Reejerey, Harbinger, Vile, Master. So I want my pass to line up with Tidebinder Mage, Reejerey, and Master, which is kind of awkward. So I guess I have to take one of those creatures. I'm not going to expose my white source until my opponent exposes something for me to kill. So I think I'm just supposed to lead on taking Tidebinder because it's the immediate play for my opponent. Um, yeah, I can kill the Master later. So I think I'm taking Tidebinder. Playing the Forest for, well, I have to play it. I could have played like Swamp and then done everything, but I like this. It makes it the Spreading Seas look a little more tempting to use it not on a white source. That's fine. Yeah, I'm definitely the beatdown here, especially if Rhino gets bounced. I guess my opponent doesn't know I can recast that. This is like an interesting stare down. I don't think I get any. My opponent's mulligan. They're in a spot where they're trying to utilize all of their spells. I think my best plan of attack is just minimize the amount of time they have to utilize said spells. They're going to have to take some time next turn to cast Spreading Seas to turn off my Horizon Canopy if they want to turn off my white sources anyways. Um, because of their Spreading Seas. Maybe I was supposed to take this. I just didn't want my Rhino to get. I didn't think about the fact that Harbinger of Tides locks me out of recasting. Like the Harbinger Spreading Seas combo locks me out of recasting Rhino. I still think I was supposed to take Tidebinder. I have like X removal spells and I have to line them up better. And this like actually gets me somewhere. Sorry, let me finish my turn and I'll kind of compose my thoughts in a more elegant way. So, I have to line up my removal spells with the relevant creatures in my opponent's hands somehow, anyways, right? Like Yurijiri and all these cards are capable of taking over the game. So, I know they're gonna, Spreading Seas my white source when I deploy it. So my real goal there is going to be another hand is Master, and I think that's it. Is it just Master that I know about? That's a good draw. Um, so I know their threats, and I have like a bunch of outs to get to white mana. So forcing them down this line that takes them the most number of turns seems a little better. Though the Rhino thing does make me use my white source with leaving Path in hand. So there's a chance I just lose because I get cut off. But I think that there's a bigger chance I lose just because I leave them with a threat. As opposed, because like that's how Merfolk traditionally beats you. Just like you end up with a threat and bad things happen. So they're at 3. So if I have lethal, right? So I go Swamp. I Evo this to Necrotal, that's lethal too, right? Because I can path the other one. Rather just push as far ahead as possible in the process. Wait, why am I worrying about Necrotal? My opponent's at 3 life. I did this again. Well, I could certainly appreciate that route to victory both times. Yeah, Evo's nice here, but I'm starting to get to the. I think that this deck is built too much like an Evo deck, and I think that it's very possible that you just want to be an Obzon deck that has some Evos in it. I think we're still on the wrong side of that equation.